This is the Stormy Willow Podcast, a lighthearted, balanced examination of the paranormal.
It is Adele and Sarah here with a special guest for our 100th episode. This is our dad, Tim. So we are so excited to have him here with us on our 100th episode. He has called into our meeting, and we're going to ask him some questions, and we know that it'll be a real treat for you listeners. Hey, Dad.
Hey, how y'all doing?
It's our 100th episode. Can you believe it?
No, but that's great.
It is. Well, speaking of all of our episodes, do you have a favorite episode so far of the 100 we've done?
All of them, to tell you the truth. I didn't get through all 100 of them, but the ones I have heard, y'all touched bases on about everything, and I was real excited a few weeks ago when y'all was talking about Miss Cannon, the spiritualist. And me living here in Florida, and I have a bunch of friends in their 80s, and I got actually one friend that's passed in spirit. She was 96, and I didn't realize how popular she was as a spiritualist here, and they knowed her, and actually one of the ladies actually went into one of her conference she had up in Pennsylvania, I guess about 40 years ago. But,
wow.
You know, but that was y'all hit right on everything, you know, so yeah.
That's one of, we asked each other what our favorite episodes were, and that was one of my favorite too. I really liked it a lot.
And it's hard to believe how she got tuned in with spirit all them years ago, you know, and it doesn't matter how old you are, how young you are, when you, I guess, how spirit works, we all have it, but we just don't know how to tap into it. And, you know, and look how she did, you know, and the stuff that she saw and knowed about. The same way a friend of mine is in spirit now, but Miss Loretta Irvin put me so much in mind of Miss Canyon, how she's seeing into spirit world. So, but yeah, that was one of my favorite ones.
Oh yeah, I liked it too. I thought it was really good. And I love that about Dolores Cannon. It's like she didn't really tap into that whole spiritual side till like midlife. So
Yeah,
that kind of gives you hope that, you know, you're never too old to learn something new.
Sounds kind of like Dad's journey too.
It
After
does
we
sound
were
like
gone,
Dad's.
he could focus on spirit.
That's right.
Oh yeah, and I know one of your best listening every day, Rita. Just like to take a second and say hello, Rita. I'm
Hey,
on air
Rita!
with them.
Hi, Rita. Thanks for listening.
Yes, we're so glad. We're so glad that you're a regular in our brood. So thanks for listening. You may.
Yeah.
We want to know, what's your favorite episode, Rita? You have to let us know.
Yeah, for sure.
She let us know, yes. But she listens to y'all. Actually, when she walks every morning, she just go through one, and yeah, she says she's enjoying it. So, and I'm trying to get another friend. Actually, she has a hard time connecting with all the new technology, but you know, I've seen her what I can.
I totally get that. Adele, I've kind of held Adele's hand on that. So, but we're so glad. Thank you for sharing about our podcast, Dad. We enjoy it. Enjoy having all the listeners.
Yeah, I just feel like there's somebody out there who's coming soon that's going to get y'all to the next level, and I do believe that's going to happen. I don't believe it. I know it's going to happen. So I'll put it that way. I'm sitting here in the middle of the spirit room at my house here in Florida. So lots of spirits are trying to come through, channel through. So I'm trying to keep them at bay right now.
Well, actually, hey, if anything's coming through, we have the airwaves. So if you have a message for someone, we're happy to share it.
Yeah. You know, there's somebody out there. I'm looking, or they're telling me in the trying to get a location, but it's not here in the state of Florida. It's in the middle of the plains, or middle of the United States. A female. They're telling me that they're in their late 20s, and they're worrying. They're worrying about everything. They have their up days, down days, like we all do, but they just don't know their life purpose. And sometimes the rug, as we say, is pulled out from them. But they're telling me, the spirit that I'm hearing, that's going to be okay. This person, is not looking at the right place, and it's keep taking everything back. It's not want to move forward because they're scared, and that is what's holding them back. So what they need to do, they're telling me, is at dream time and at night, as your mind starts to shut down, just ask universe, God, what do you really want? And this move will happen, and it's there, and it's just the faith they got to put. They got more fear than faith, they're telling me. And now when that happens, then Spirit's going to help them move into the right direction. But they've got to quit taking stuff back. That is their issue right now. So whoever that is, I hope that helps you. So come over the fear and get faith.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, and they're all over the place. Spirit saying that they could be happy one minute, then this is putting mental stress on them, and you got to let stress, the fear go, and place it with faith and strength. And I really think they're going to be listening to this. That's what I'm laughing at. I'm not laughing at that, but they're laughing, they're humming, and they're saying that, yes, this person will be moving on their path. And there's also, they're telling me, she has two good true friends, and I want her to hear this, true friends. And they will help her also, and they're the ones that is giving her the push to the right direction. Listen to them too, not go back and listen to the others that just cloud your mind. They said these two are your two true friends. That's all I got on that one.
Wow, that's pretty awesome. I hope, well, not that I hope, but we just know that's going to find the right person that needs to hear it.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, definitely let us know if that speaks to anybody.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I hope it does. Helps you out of that rut.
Yeah, I'm getting in the middle of the state. I don't know. It's towards more in the middle of the states, not the East Coast or West Coast, right in the middle, central middle. But yes, but spirits are working on it. It's got to get that faith and listen to the two friends, because they're also is trying to pull her into the right direction. So God bless her.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So I guess y'all wanted to ask me some questions here. I thought we known each other all these years. Y'all been on the planet, and all of a sudden I find out that y'all don't remember half the stuff I told y'all when I was younger, especially all the experience that I had with, I don't know how you would say, life near-death experience I had a couple of them in my life.
Listen, when we were growing up with Dad, he made us have near-death experiences. He act like that one more time, girls.
Yeah.
We didn't get to know this side of Dad when we were growing up, to be fair.
Well, if we're going to tell the true story, let's talk about working 7 days a week, 12 hours a day.
I knew that.
Then when I come home, and the whole neighborhood was at the house, and when they hear the truck pull up, like cockroaches are running out of the house. Here comes Dad.
Yeah, we would hear that hiccup, and we would we got to disperse.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I guess I had a very interesting upbringing, especially my mother. My grandmother uh, lived with my mother and my brother, my dad while he was in service, and I didn't physically got to know her, but I got to hear all the stuff that when she was on the planet, the stuff that she helped with others. And she was Native American. Her name was Exie May. And her two sisters was adopted by some sharecroppers in South Carolina and Chester. And so anyway, she had a pretty big family with my mom. Well, she only had three. Let me take that back. My mother and her sister and two brothers. And then she raised them best she could, and then she come in with my mother, took care of her, and she helped raise my older brother. But she had a very knowledgeable spirit. She was used to do herbs. People would come if they need something, sickness or poison oak or anything. They said she would go and get the Bible and put a ribbon in the hands and say a prayer and give them some kind of salve. Within 3 days, it's gone.
Wow. Now, Dad, you didn't know. You weren't born yet when Exie May was alive?
No, I wasn't.
Okay.
She passed. She passed away, I guess, 4 or 5 years after I was born. And my brother was 10 years older than me. So basically, she raised him. And but my dad wouldn't talk too much about it. And my mother always showed me pictures or stuff like that, but I always knew she was there for some reason. And my brother used to get mad at me, and I used to tell her I seen her in the corner and over where the TV is. He said, there's no way you see her. And then he said, she passed away there. But I always gravitated to that corner. And I seen her in spirit a couple of times. I told my mother, and my dad, of course, didn't believe in all this. Mumbo jumbo, he used to call it, but I'm not going to say what he used to call it. Yeah. But anyway, he said, you don't see that. But my mother the whole time said, you do see spirit. You're right. And I just got confirmation about a year ago in the other bedroom where she stayed. I always felt a presence in that bedroom. And I don't know why I kept, every time I just gravitated in there. And my cousin actually lives near Sarah. She told me last year, we were just talking about spirit and plus the Native American on my mother's side, and my other grandmother on the Collins side also has Cherokee in both sides of the family. And she said, when I was a little girl, I never forget as long as I lived him. I wasn't even born, so she said, I remember we went down to your house after your grandmother passed away, and your mother had her put in her bed just before the body of you back in the old days. And she said, that was the most beautiful woman I ever seen in my life. Her hair was so long, because she always kept it up like a bun, like a Granny Clampett, and shoes and stuff. And I seen that, and I physically seen that impression of her.
Wow.
And I didn't even know that until my cousin told me that. And here I am going to be 63 here in a few more months. And I'm going like, wow. So that was true. So
that's good confirmation.
Yeah. And then my brother, of course, told me a lot of other stuff that, I don't know how you're doing this, but I didn't know at the time.
Right.
And I guess the big thing when I was about 8 or 9, I had a 3-speed bicycle with a banana seat on it. And the back cable of that brake kept coming off. And my next door neighbor, James, he's about 8 more years. I guess it's 7 years older than I was. and was down at the park on this big hill and was going to go to the park. And he said, well, let me drive and you just get on the back seat and we'll go there. I said, James, whatever you do, don't hit that. And before I got it on my mouth, he hit the brake and the brakes went out. We went flying down this big hill, and Sarah National knows exactly what I'm talking about, on Hare Street. Mm-hmm. Thank God there was no cars coming by. And he said, my nickname to him was Tim, but we made it by that time. He hit the sand right was in the road in the little ditch. I came flying over the handlebars. The next thing I know, I was out, knocked out. He ran to go get my parents. Meanwhile, hardly nobody was around. Only thing I remember was the beautiful, beautiful peace and the music. It was something unbelievable. And I seen my grandmother come to me and said, you can't come now. Go back.
Gosh.
And next thing I know, I was on the couch at the house, and the doctor back then made house visit, and I had a severe concussion, a knot on my head. And back then, they didn't do scans and all that. And ever since then, I really started picking up stuff. I used to see stuff I couldn't explain. I used to tell my mother, I'll be sitting on our side porch with a rocking chair, and we had a bunch of woods across the road, and there was not any other houses there, and now it's a walking trail. But I actually see people that passed in my life will be just walking to, in the woods. I mean, they were in the woods and they're way, and I'll way back, so that's when all this intuition and I guess all this got going. But as I got older, I guess I was 12 or 13. Well, I was about 13, up towards Tika Cave, but a dam there, electric dam, and a storm said you could see the lightning come and hit the power lines.
Oh gosh!
But every Saturday, me and my brother, his wife, he's married at the time, and my next door neighbor, he also worked at the fish camp. On Saturday nights, we used to go across the bridge to Rock Hill to watch Bruce Lee movies every Saturday night. Well, this Saturday night, it was in the fall, beautiful night, was going, we were the only ones that left in the parking lot. He locked up the fish camp and was going down the road, and all of a sudden, his wife said, Billy, what's that? What's that? We all looked up, and there was something hovering over us. First, we thought it was a helicopter, and my brother stopped. We all rolled the window down. It was an old furry car, 4-door car. And next thing we know, we kept hearing nothing, and we sort of got scared. And everybody said, "What is that's following us?" And till this day, we don't know what happened. We left that spot, and next thing we know, we were in the parking lot at the show. Didn't even realize we came over the bridge or nothing. It shook us up so bad, we didn't even go to the show. We went straight home and took my neighbor home and all that. So it was, to this day, I knew what it was, but, it was just crazy to see that happen.
Surprisingly, in a separate conversation with our mom while recording episode 100, we discovered that she also separately witnessed a UFO around the same time and area of that year. Mom nor Dad recalled having ever disclosed this to one another. And here's her account in her own words.
But I do think one time I saw an alien ship.
Well, tell us. Oh, gosh, Mom.
I was like 15 years old, and I shared a room with my sister Kim.
And
my bed was here, hers was right there, and above our bed were 3 windows, right, and some pine trees. Well, I remember I was reading, and I turned over and turned off the light because I started reading, and I used to sleep on my stomach, and I was just laying there, and I saw a light in the window, and I thought it was the moon. Then when I turned on my side, I realized the moon was in that window over there, and I turned back over here, and there's that light. I turned back over here, there's the moon. And I'm sitting there watching it, and it was a triangle, and there was another light here. And I said, Kim, Kim, you know, and of course she said, what? I said, there's a light out here. It's the moon. No, it didn't. Look. And she was turning around to look after she'd been all grumpy, and all of a sudden there's the 3 lights and the 1 light, and bam, they're gone. They're over the. They were just gone. I never saw them again.
Wow.
I thought, gosh, and I don't remember now. I just remember trying to get her awake to see him.
Oh
And,
man, it would be weird if that was the same night that Dad had the experience he did.
Oh man,
Wouldn't that be crazy?
yeah, but I just remember
Because they were Rock Hill to see the movie, and you were in like.
I was in Rock Hill,
Rock Hill.
and I just remember thinking, "There's lights right there,"
That's
and the moon was shining in over here. So, and at first I thought maybe it's an airplane, but it
that doesn't
wasn't.
make sense. That would be you would be able to see.
It wasn't moving. It was right
Yeah.
there. It was 3 of them, and there was 1 over here, which I don't know if it's a part of that or what. There's 3 right here, and it's an isosceles triangle where the sides are not equal.
Yes.
Okay, it was
Okay,
like that,
I felt
and there was
you.
1 there,
I'm not probably like.
and they were just there. They were just hovering there.
Were you scared?
No, I was excited. I
Yeah.
thought, look, because I didn't have time to be scared, and then, bam, gone.
Wow.
Now back to Dad.
Yeah, I can't
So-
imagine any experience like that in my life.
Do you think you were
Yeah,
abducted and like put there, or do you think you just had time lost from like exposure?
Well, I had another friend here. We talked about it here in Florida about this, and they also. I really don't get too much out of it, but they also had experience like this out towards New Mexico, and they was younger, and something almost like what we did, but it was different. And she said that she also was abducted by them, and they kept visiting quite often when she was younger. And she said that she knows when they come because she felt like they put stuff, downloads, different stuff. And I'm the same way. I can get high pitch in the ears, and I feel like I said, well, I joke with my wife Nancy and said, well, I think they're flying over or something like that. But yeah, I think something did happen, and the combination of the other stuff with the hit in the head, and then all this stuff that's happened when I was younger, and so I've been around a while. When I was younger, I just couldn't put everything together. You know, sometimes I think it was crazy and all that. But as I got older and got married and had y'all and worked, and I had the opportunity to go to some powwows, the Native American powwows. There's a local tribe at Catawbas near Sarah, and where we used to live at, and got very interested in powwows and how the Native Americans, not all tribes, but most tribes have seen spirits, grandfather, God, whatever you want to call it. So I got very interested in that, and so the company I worked for at the time, Frito-Lay or PepsiCo, I actually got to go to share information with the powwows across the country. I went to Virginia, North Carolina, Georgia. I was out in Texas. I got to meet different tribes and all that. That was a blessing to hear the story that some of them been through, and they still see spirit, or whatever you want to call it. The some people comes down, or the aliens, or whatever you want to call it. Some of the stories that they have and history, what they have seen, is unbelievable.
Oh yeah.
And go ahead.
Well,
Yeah.
speaking of Native Americans, you know, we for our 100th episode, we are covering Bigfoot. And Adele and I were talking with our research that, you know, Bigfoot sightings have kind of gone all the way back to Native American, like folklore and like drawings and whatnot. So it's kind of, you know, interesting that you mentioned that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. You can't tell me giants. They talk about the giant people and all that. It just blows your mind. It just, sometimes I just can't wonder how people sometimes don't think that we're it. When you die, that's it. Or they don't look at the big picture. We all have. I look at like we are in a movie, and we're playing another part of our life in this movie, and it's just like if this ends now, a new one starts. And but yeah, and I know I'm talking. Yeah, well, another thing was I got a bunch of older friends since I lived here in Florida, and they have histories. I got the Italians, I got the Greeks, and all down here. But I love. In
case you don't know, Dad lives the life of a golden girl.
Yep,
down in Florida.
yeah. I got a lot of friends, and I had a good guy. His name's TC, and he was telling me the other day. He was actually his mother and them came from Sicily, and he said, "Tim, when we leave this body, and you wonder why when you hear the babies cry when they're born, they don't want to come back. That's why they cry." And I'm going like, wow, that makes sense.
It does make sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. But you're getting back to Bigfoot and stuff like that. I mean, nothing amazed me. The stories and stuff, or the history I have seen and heard. You just, can't make this stuff up.
So you would say then, are you a believer in Bigfoot?
I believe, I do believe that there's something out there, and it's up in the middle of the United States or all over the place. They could be spotted, and I do believe it. You can't tell me. The military knows about it. You heard about one of the I forgot where it was out where. It got to be where it's called Minnesota. I don't know, Minnesota or where Bigfoot's supposed to be at. And too many people have spotted it, and just not these drunk hunters out here, but the military has seen it. But our government keeps lots of stuff from us. Don't want us to know or scare us. That's another thing. And another thing I was going to chat. I was honored to. As I went through my journey, me and my wife, Nancy, she was actually born in New Orleans, and her family, especially her mother and her sisters, always had a interest in astrology. So she's been, I guess, doing astrology since she was 9 or 10.
Oh, wow.
And between both of us, I'm channel spirit. And she does astrology, and I'm telling you, it's just amazing the stuff that she can do in astrology. But again, we actually travel, and we went to a bunch of psychics all around North Carolina, up in Nashville. We got one good friend, still lives in Kannapolis and Charlotte. Y'all can write this down. Mary Beth Wren, like the bird. And I think it was 5 years or 8 years ago, they did the top 50 psychics of the world. She made one of the top 50. But now I haven't seen it, but the church that is no longer closed a couple of years ago, the Chapel of Divine Spirit down in Holiday, Florida, they had the spiritualists there before I got here. And one of the ladies, not that church, but when she was growing up, she actually lived in Cassadaga, Florida. And that's the hot spot of the psychics back in the 70s. And they said that they actually seen the trumpet. The trumpet would go around the room and play. And everybody would play there. So, yeah. So
now Fox Sisters action.
Yeah. Now I have never witnessed that, but I have heard of it. So, and the talking box.
Yeah.
And yep, and they have that one, and I'm so blessed I can't even handle it. All my good friends that's into spiritualism, or they know, and just we meet here at the house. Try to meet at least every other month, and have meetings here and share information. So it's just a blessing to have them as a friend, but also help me on my journey to understand. Because sometimes I was going like, "Is this real or not?" And then you see things happen. And I think right now there's a lot of activity going on into the world. You got different religion backgrounds and all that, but I really think if people really sit back and stay focused and let whatever you want to call God, and I get into big arguments sometime, and I quit, try to push religion on anybody and all that. And I had this guy a few years ago got upset and said, "Well, tell me who your God is, who you preach to." And I'm going like, I don't preach to anybody, but God is God. Your God is my God. So whatever you call your God is my God. And the guy couldn't handle it. Because he couldn't comprehend, So why do we want to fight over? Buddha, all of them, God is God. That's it. Whatever you want, God is God. So I just don't like
people just look for fights.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and you do, and they can't understand. And you got to admit, I'm very partial with the Native American. I guess it's in the blood or the background or the stuff that I know. It's no coincidence how they took care of Mother Earth. How you don't see them writing or getting all this politics of a Republican or Democrat. They stay neutral. They say what God has given them, even though sometimes I get very upset. We, and I say we all took them off their land and put them on reservations. And, if anybody has any complaints and anything to argue about, they should be down, but you don't have no say-so in the government, or politics. But I know I'm keeping y'all from your other story, but I mean, that's your story, but about Bigfoot, but anyway. So basically, that's about it. I'm getting older, but I'm getting wiser, and I just, as you get older, you're going like, wow, where did yesterday go?
I know, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
But I know there's some other stuff out there that I need to be working on and focus on. My goal, and I told Nancy we both, and maybe one time we can get her on here and she could pop some stuff off of you on astrology.
Yeah, maybe
I don't have a
reading for us. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I think today the moon, yesterday the moon's in Scorpio, so, and it's still in Scorpio, so you have to watch out when the moon's in Scorpio, so things could go to all to what.
Listen here, my whole week has gone to hell in a handbasket.
yeah. And that's what I love about her. She does all these charts, used to, but she just has so much knowledge of that stuff, and I'm going like, oh, and everybody asks me, hey, can Nancy do your chart? And it's a lot going into it. She just don't go pull up stuff and, okay. She want to know the person and who they are, and she could probably explain it better than I can. But
astrology
I love when
is so complicated. It is not easy by any means.
Yeah.
It is very, very hard.
Yeah, and she don't do the the retrogrades and all that. She knows about that, but what she always told me, she loved to pull up a person's chart and see the good things, not is their death going to be around you, all that, but she likes them, people said, "Hey, Nancy, I'm thinking about buying a house. Oh, don't buy it this month. Wait till the next 2 months, and when the moon moves into Taurus this month or this week, that'd be a good time to buy the house." And to help on different questions like that, but not
We're
really getting into it.
definitely controlled by the planets for sure. We
Oh,
always know it. Like we all know when Mercury is in retrograde and all that fun
Mhm.
stuff. It's really
well,
interesting.
both of y'all know. I mean, Nancy did y'all chart, so y'all know how good she helped out on stuff, things I
Yeah.
couldn't even figure out. It's just like wow. But that's another series we could
Yeah,
do.
right.
Yeah.
That's the nice thing about this podcast is there's like we never run out of topics.
No.
Yeah. That's funny when you talk about the trumpet and the voice box and all that. I actually did seen a voice box, but I've never seen it at work, how it works. But I've seen the old spiritual one at Casadega. But now Casadega has changed so much. The church is still there, the school is still there, but now all the ones claim they're psychics and stuff, and they had to let them in, and it's sort of ruined the old spiritual part of it. So,
Yeah.
yeah, so,
Unfortunately, for how many good ones there are a lot of frauds out there, and it's really a
I
shame.
think,
Especially especially when it impacts people's lives and they're really looking for answers,
yeah, and you got to watch the gypsies and everything out there, and
Yeah, that's how we're
so-
gonna start our show where we crack down. Get the bad ones
yeah.
out. Think about having like a siren on my car. It's gonna be green. I'm like, you're busted.
Oh, I hear that.
You booger psychic.
You're not real sick.
Yeah.
Oh, Adele, do you have any questions for Dad?
Let's see. I guess just a word of advice, I guess, for people in 2024. Like, what is a mantra or like a thought they should keep in mind, especially during election season and after, to not lose
All
our
the
minds
chaos.
again, like we did the
Yeah.
first time around.
That's a good one.
No, I think right now is people going to be right now. I know lots of people looking on the internet. I know one person told me the 27th of May that Texas is going to secede from the Union, another major earthquakes. But that's been happening thousands and thousands of years ago. Not Texas, but all this stuff. We can. The Simpsons, for example. I do believe history repeats itself. It does, and I was amazed. I was watching a show a couple of weeks ago, and it was talking about that. I believe you can't say the pyramids and all that they did not have help from whoever. The aliens or whoever we're going to call them or whatever. I do believe that. But getting back to this, I think we're in a critical state right now for this country. I think that we are torn and divided. You could be a Democrat, Republican, or independent, whatever. But you got I don't feel like it's going to get better until everything I won't say chaos, but I think everything's got to a point where the majority of the people say enough is enough. And I'm not saying the patriots or the militia or go to war. It's the people's house, and they need, and I'm totally for not one term in office or no less than 8 years. That's it. Get fresh ideals. We need it, and then they're talking to me here. I'm sorry. I'm thinking about President Reagan. That man knew that something was coming. He was a good president, yes. I believe he did see the UFO. I don't know if you ever heard about that. He was on, not Air Force One, he was on a charter plane with this pilot, and they seen a light in front of him, kept following him, and Reagan asked the pilot, which he was a Air Force pilot, hey, chase it, and it just went like that. So that
And
made him a
Nancy
believer.
was a huge believer as well in astrology.
Yep.
And,
Yep.
and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And he said with Star Wars and the and all that stuff that he was going to create up there, he knows eventually that they're out there, and eventually they will come back. And either if we don't change our way, they'll make us change our ways. And that's not talking about the United States, the whole world. They're not going to let stuff be destroyed again and all this, or they'll take control. And I always believe that. I think they're already here. I know I joked with Nancy. We went to Sedona about 9 or 10 years ago, and I told Nancy, I said, "There's a hybrid right there." She said, "It's a hybrid." When I said a hybrid,
You mean a hybrid human?
Yeah. Even the family, they were just so this gorgeous, like the blonde and blue eyes, but their face was like it was hard to explain. And Nancy said, "You're pulling my leg." I said, "I just got this feeling," and I never forget. We get up, we walk out. Going to pay at the restaurant, and Nancy looked and said, "Oh my God, look at that, Tim!" And it had one of I think it was the Bear Cave picture of the mountain up in Sedona. It had a UFO right behind it, and I'm going like, "Hey, only in Sedona, right?" Well, we went on the Jeep tour, and took me 4 or 5 months to get all this planned, but I was wanting to go see Larry Sprague. Remember that if you ever go out to Sedona, see that, and he's still doing the Jeep tours out there.
Wow.
Cool.
This man knows all the history about Sedona and the medicine wheel and all that, but he could share a lot of stuff when you go out, and he watches the UFOs go into the mountains and see them all over there. But yeah, I believe eventually they're already here. We know that. It's just our government and the world don't know we can handle it.
Right.
And but getting back to your question, yeah, something major got to happen to get us back to the way we were, or change got to come.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's going to be or again, history's going to repeat itself. I mean, you got too many people, the old veterans here, they're ready to go to war. They're ready to go clean up the whole military. It's just, I never seen this bad.
Yeah,
And I always thought it was bad when I was a kid, but we never pulled a gun or shot anybody. We might get in a little fist fight, but we shake hands, and that was it. We're back friends. And we all know we go out and play, and then when the street lights come on, you at home. That's it. You didn't have to worry about it. And I was laughing. I think I was telling another friend of mine, Doris. I said, "You remember the TVs back in the 60s and 70s at 10 o'clock? Do you know where your childs are?" Then at midnight, the TV went off air, and there's the flag. So it's
different
definitely
time.
something coming. Yeah, definitely something coming, Ashlyn. Yeah, I feel it. It's going to be. It got to get better. Can't get any worse. It just got something's going to break. I do believe that. And I don't know how it's going to fix itself. I don't know if we're all going to come together, or is this going to be just chaos. I hope not. I pray not. But it's almost like living through the Cuban crisis again in the 60s. Is right now. I'm not saying we're going to war, but it's so many stuff. One little spark could throw everybody into another war. World war.
Everybody's already on edge.
Yeah, seriously.
Well,
But
sorry,
you got to focus. Yeah, but we all got to focus. Good things is coming to us, And that's the way we got to look at it. Because we can change, just the mind can change everything. The way people, the attitudes and all that. I think we stay more focused on that. That will help us. But we'll see.
That's good advice. Try to stay in a positive with that vibration for sure.
Yeah.
One final question I have, just like looking back at your life now at 63, what would be advice that you would give your younger self that you wish you would have followed?
Not having kids.
Yeah, probably that. I wished I went into the military, but that was
Really?
my game plan. Yeah, but I didn't share my other story, but I did try out. Didn't try out, but I did sign up to go in the Navy at 18, right in my senior year. But anyway, when I was 18.
Wrestling career.
Yeah, that's true. But my 18 months, I was 18 months old. My mother's oldest brother he was in World War II, Earl. I love that man to death, man. He's just almost like a second dad to me. And I just happened that day, got out and following him behind the lawnmower, and a rock flew out and hit me in my right eye, and I lost vision in the eye. So back before they did the act in the 70s, no, I think it was 76, one of the presidents, I can't remember then, but they wouldn't let me in the service because I was blind in the right eye because of combat. But that changed in the late 70s, but I was already, or the 80s, the Disability Act, I would have got into the Navy. But I wish I would have did that. I think I would love to see more and more discipline too. So that's one thing if I
might
can
have
go
saved
back.
your life in the end. You never know.
Oh, yeah. And I just wish I had more time when I was younger with y'all, because it was just chaos. I'm going to say work, and man, some days I didn't know what planet I was on half the time, but hey, that's the way that, it worked.
I think
I thought I was doing the right thing.
Yeah. Dad, we really appreciate you coming on the show and talking to us. Amazing message. I really love to find out who that spoke to you. I think that's just fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm going to let y'all go. It's getting past.
He's gonna go get in the pool. He's in sunny Florida while the rest of us are freezing.
Well, anyway, I am proud of both of y'all, and thank you for letting me share. I hope I didn't put some people to sleep tonight. So
no, are you kidding?
Yeah. Well, anyway, I'm gonna go off and again, thank y'all again, and I love y'all, and y'all have a good Easter, and I will be talking to y'all soon.
That sounds good. Thanks, Dad. We love you.
Thanks.
Okay, you too. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.